right, what have I gotten myself into this time? Oh boy, it's a bass. All right, so this is a early 90s vintage Valley Arts bass made in California, in a little bit of rough around the edges shape, including all of the electronics being hacked up and undone. So we're just gonna essentially take this thing completely apart, get everything out of it and off of it, and just kind of work through rebuilding it, kind of step by step, and hopefully ending up with a playable, salvageable bass here. Yeah, these pickups have been hacked and chopped up, and that ain't gonna do me no good. So we'll get some new ones there. This is an absolutely terrible bridge, but it works. Get these tuners and neck plate off. I think most builders in the 90s took real pride in having their own stamped neck plates. This is no exception. Valley Arts, made in the USA. There we go. Honestly, a very good instrument. Really well made and very nice condition under all the gunk. At least certainly on the neck. I like to keep these giant bags around to keep all the parts in so I don't lose anything. And here's the bad part: failed scarf joint. Honestly, not that difficult to repair. You'll see. I'll kind of do a step by step a little bit here on how to manage this. Mostly, first we want to get that joint open, and using a set of clamps and a block to clamp against, we should be able to open and close that joint at will and have enough, be able to adjust the pressure enough so that we can do a really good job of sanding both surfaces, both the top and bottom surface, depending on which way you're looking at it, to get all of the old residue off. A lot of these builders in the 90s were experimenting and using a lot of very fancy, very esoteric epoxy-based sorts of glues, and they could have saved themselves a lot of time and effort just using something like a traditional wood glue. Is much less likely to fail. But you see these kind of failures frequently enough that it becomes obvious that maybe this wasn't a great idea. So anyway, we're just adjusting the pressure, making sure we get both sides, trying to take the easy stuff first and then add a little pressure and take the deeper stuff and make sure we get all the little wood fibers that might make closure not work so great. And yeah, it's working exactly how it should work. And it's almost like I've done this 80 times before. Turns out, unfortunately, especially with broken necks, practice makes perfect. So you do this a few times and you figure out this how to use a little bit of clamp and a little bit of pressure to make this happen. So yeah, we got that pretty good. We got all the glue residue and stuff off, and now we're just inelegantly kind of mashing Titebond 1 into the open seam here. First pushing as much as we can in with a finger, and then we'll switch to a palette knife to just push it in all the way to the back of the joint. Titebond 1 doesn't set up that quickly, and it's not a particularly warm day, so I've got plenty of time. I can just do what I need to do without worrying about setting up or anything like that. And yeah, just continue going back and forth, making sure you got as much glue into that joint as is necessary. And then once you feel confident in it, you can release the pressure, and you can see the squeeze out when we release the pressure on that clamp. That's a really good sign that we got glue all the way through that open seam. And don't have to do anything fancy here. We'll just use a damp rag and clean up some of the overage before we clamp it up. And clamping is as simple as just a couple of not particularly robust squeeze clamps. They're going to hold just fine. You don't need a ton of pressure here, just enough to hold it shut. You don't want to squeeze out all the glue. Just give it enough. And there it is. Came out straight, very clean, and very strong. So we are probably not going to have to worry about this opening up again. We'll do a little drop filling with some super glue right at that seam. We just want to make sure we absolutely cannot feel it in any way, shape, or form. And that just is a couple minutes going back and forth with some sandpaper and some super glue. And you can see there's a little bit of dirt and grime and some built up tackiness on the back of this neck. And to even out the color anyway, we'll just go ahead and use some 1000 grit paper. That tends to be enough to take off the worst of it without going through the lacquer anywhere, and just roughing it up a little bit. So it's going to clean up the neck real nice. We tape off the fretboard, and then we will move on to spraying a real quick coat of lacquer just to seal everything up, and then we'll knock the peeling off on that. And then we just work on the body, some orange oil to take off some adhesive and stickiness. Now we make just a goddamn mess with with this polish and this it's just auto polish, but making a terrible mess, cleaning up some of the scratches and swirls. There's lots of nicks and dings and scuffs on this body, so we're not going to be able to get rid of all that, but we're just looking to clean it up and make it look the best it can, which is, not too bad. It's a black base. What are you going to do, right? Okay, we're going to add some gold strap buttons. Those were the only thing missing. This screw was horribly bent, and of course with these oddball screws, impossible to find. So you end up just straightening it out carefully using a rubber mallet and a soft jaw vise like this. And you do this a handful of times, kind of go back and forth. And we ended up straight enough that it works just fine. Again, this is not a well-considered bridge. End up with a little steel wool, and functioning. It functions just fine. It's just over-engineered. Okay, and here's the bridge, looking all spiffy. Rest of the body's looking pretty human just now. The lacquer is dry, so we're just gonna hit it with some real quick 1500 grit paper just to knock some of the tackiness off of the back of it, so it'll play nice and smooth, and should be good to go. We'll just clean up the fretboard, start with a damp rag, move on to steel wool, just kind of getting the layer of grime off of it, but the frets were in very good condition, and neck was nice and straight, so can't complain there. The toughest cleanup part was actually these tuners. They had a solid layer of DNA encrusting them. It was a little disgusting, but with some careful polishing and quad-aught steel wool, it worked just fine. You don't want to go too hard on gold-plated hardware. You can go right through the gold pretty easy. But these came out pretty nice. Then we're replacing the pickups, obviously. Got these Frank Bello EMG X set. I got this at a fairly decent price. Complete, has all the pieces I needed. Pretty happy about it. And installing EMG pickups is honestly one of the simplest things on the planet. If you just follow the diagram thoughtfully and carefully, they go together really, really quickly and easily. Here you can see this cavity had shielding. Shielding's not necessary with active pickups. And then, the one thing to remember when you're doing it is always put your pickup leads through first before attaching them to the pickups. These are going to be a direct drop-in fit. The original had EMGs. from back in the day. It was a longer shot than is necessary. All right. And here we are. You probably want to play test everything once you get all the connections made, and then you can kind of clean up and do some wire management so it doesn't look like a rat's nest like this. And we ended up with a pretty nice bass. There we go. Valley Arts, Studio City, California, gold hardware, nice straight neck, frets in good shape. The body is obviously, has got a few scuffs and dings, but not bad at all. Got this aftermarket PV case, and here we go with some sound. Yeah, we're gonna get there.